right, guys, welcome to another episode of Breakfast with the Boys. Myself, Jay Guacamole, and Jack Gotzel are back. Good morning, fellas. How are we?
Pretty good.
Yeah, doing good.
Okay.
How you doing?
Fantastic, boys. Any better? I'd be you, Jay Guacamole. Looking fresh tonight, buddy. Looking good. Good to see you. Listen, I want to tell you guys, the Ben Askren, Jake Paul, the press conference for the fight went down. Everybody's talking about it. Listen, in the beginning, I was kind of like, I don't know, man. Jake Paul, like I saw some training videos of him, some guys sparring with him, say he looks pretty good. I was like, damn, man. Like, Askren's a wrestler, a fantastic, obviously Olympic style wrestler. He's been a great MMA fighter. But when you get someone who can pro level box in boxing versus an MMA guy who's not, Askren's not known for boxing at all, you might think that he could be beat. And then I saw this press conference, boys. I would put everything I have, and I might put everything I have on Ben Askren in this fight. I don't know if you guys saw the behavior of Jake Paul at the press conference, but he did you're a fucking pussy, bro. You're a pussy. All
this is
that
the fight game.
This is the fight game. He's yelling at a guy who's been in 50 fights in his life before. That was a joke. But when they came together and he was being like, yeah, I'm gonna knock you. I don't know, boys. His behavior, and listen, I've been in some like face-to-face things before in my life. He acted tense. He acted like someone who's nervous. Like, I think he is realizing that no matter what, whether he thinks he's gonna beat him or not, and he might still beat him, but like, this isn't Nate Robinson. This isn't Deji. This is fucking Ben Askren, one champion, fucking Bellator champion, fucking, everybody, he had a bad UFC run, but that was late in his career. Jorge Masvidal, who, whatever, I respect him as a fighter in the UFC, but big finger wag for me for even rolling with that Jake Paul kid. He's a fucking pigeon, that kid. Just the way that he's acting. But he was, I don't know, boys. I feel like he was scared. I think he was nervous. I think he's nervous. I think he acted like a kid who was nervous. Like, I mean, the one thing that was for sure is Askren told him, like, he's like, dude, like, I'm an MMA guy. You're like a guy learning boxing. Like, I could do homicide to you. Like, and he could. He could do homicide.
Like you said, a pro level boxer versus an MMA guy, you're going to go with the pro level boxer in boxing. But Jake Paul is not a pro level boxer. Jake Paul has never actually even boxed an amateur boxer. He's beaten a YouTube guy in a basketball player. He's never actually been in a real boxing match, never mind against a professional fighter. All this talk is just talk until he does something. And honestly, even if he beats Ben Askren, I still would put my money on an amateur boxer over Jake Paul. But I'm going to put my money on Ben Askren. I think Ben Askren takes him in this one, and I don't even think it's going to be close. I mean, you saw how nervous Jake Paul looked. He thinks he's going to lose this fight, and I have to agree with Jake Paul that he will lose this fight.
Yeah, I gotta agree there. I think it's going to go to Ben Askren. Just from the conference alone, like you said, he was nervous. He definitely was nervous the way he was coming at it, but Ben Askren handled himself just so much better. He was composed. Yeah. He didn't show any nerves. He didn't react to any single thing that he was saying. I mean, Jake Paul just looked like that whole scenario seemed like every single one of my Xbox parties growing up when I'd be in a Call of Duty lobby. You'd always have that one asshole just chirping, chirp, 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 and that's all they do. And then you go out and they, go 0-42 because they suck. So
how does a kid who's 2-0 versus a YouTuber and a basketball player called Ben Askren, who has like fucking 40 or 50 career fights or some shit like that, countless wrestling matches, how does he come out and call him a fake fighter and then feel the need to tell him it's the fight game? Like, bro, you don't know anything about the fight game, kid. Like, listen, but I will say this. If Jake Paul beats Ben Askren, I now respect Jake Paul. I do.
I still don't. I still think he'd lose to an amateur boxer. I think Ben Askren is not a very high level striker. He's a very high level MMA guy because he was able to avoid those strikes and take the fight to the ground. I have no respect for Jake Paul boxing until he actually faces someone that knows how to box. And honestly, I think he's just going to eliminate himself and lose all respect when he loses to Ben Askren.
I don't know. I mean, you got to respect him a little bit because he's taking, if this is the career he wants to go, he's taking kind of the right steps towards becoming an amateur boxer. You know, he started off YouTube, went NBA, yeah, whatever. That's all trash. And he was just selling,
Yeah, at least he's fighting
selling
Askren,
views.
and he
Now
tried
he's,
to fight Dylan Dennis too. Like
yeah,
he wanted to fight
Yeah, he
Dennis.
picked all these guys that are ground fighters. They're grapplers. He won't mess with anyone that knows how to strike. He's a coward.
I mean, let's see where he goes from here. But I think it's the steps in the right direction for him. I'm not going to shun him for that.
If
And the
he
whole
beats,
conference, like I said, I'm not going to shun him for that either because he's selling. Triller must be happy as hell with the performance that he put out there because you got the views. I mean, I know for a fact that I'm going to be watching it, and
Oh,
even
hell
more
yeah.
so
100%.
after watching that to see him get his teeth punched in.
oh hell yeah, bro. I mean, you're certainly gonna want to see it. And the great thing is if he wins, we just signed 5-time world champion Jake Shields to tarpsoftsports.com. The Jake Shields podcast is coming to our network, guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button here. But you know, one name that Jake Paul seems to love to say is Nate Diaz, and that would be the greatest thing ever. Because if you guys don't know,
Oh,
Jake is, you know,
Scrap
basically
pack.
brothers of the Diaz brothers. He was in the corner for Nate's fight when he won the Ultimate Fighter from through to his fights with Conor McGregor. He's been with them for the whole thing. I would love Nate Diaz. If Jake Paul beats Ben Askren, Nate Diaz needs to step in there. His boxing is next level. He would absolutely piece Paul apart, and he would slap him a couple times in the mouth just to
But
show
I
him
don't
that
think
he ain't
Jake
tough.
Paul will actually do it because Nate Diaz is, in fact, a striker. He has that elite boxing, which Jake Paul does not have. No matter
No.
how many times these guys sign off on Jake Paul, they're getting paid to do it. Nate Diaz, nobody's paying to say he's a good boxer. He's just a good
He's
boxer.
just a good boxer. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's true. But the cool thing about that is like if Nate Diaz and Paul were to fight, like Shields, the podcast, like media credentials, I'd be right in the middle of it, bro. Did you hear their friends too? Like, like I get that you want to be there for your buddies, but like I agreed with what Askren said. He's like, you're so embarrassing. He's like, you brought your friends to yell stuff. Like, he's like, you're so embarrassing. And that's when he pushed his face, right? He was
And
just
when
like,
Askren's calling you corny, you know you're corny.
dude,
I mean,
Yep.
Askren knows he's corny. He's made a career off being corny.
of
But
course,
now he's
dude.
finally fighting a fighter where he's the good guy, and the guy he's fighting is even cornier than he is.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And like, you know what? I've always heard from people that have met Jake Paul that he's actually a really nice guy. They're all selling a fight, right? He wears the
of
glasses.
course.
Like, you're a pussy. Like, I don't think he's actually like that, but he plays that fucking kid really
Plays the
well
role.
because when I was watching it, I was like, man, my dream scenario would be him beat Ben Askren and fight Nate Diaz, and we could just fucking be there. Because any of those guys yelling, I'd be just giving it to them. It'd be a great
Yeah,
time.
he's doing a great job playing the bully, and everyone always wants to see the bully get beat up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where he was playing like that. And you know, like I said with Masvidal, I don't like him coming into that. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Askren is representing MMA here. I feel like he took on a lot here. If he beats him, Jake Paul's going to start chirping real MMA fighters and pull them out. But if you're Dana, maybe that's a good thing. You can get in on some of this money. Maybe Jake Paul fights Connor, or maybe he fights someone from the promotion and they make it even bigger than alongside Triller, right? Who knows
He's got to
what,
have
but
his hand in the pot somewhere, Dana.
yeah, man. Yeah, you don't want to get caught with your pants down in that industry. You got to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row because you never know who you can trust, right? When you're doing cross promotion and stuff like that. But speaking of things you can't trust, Jack, we're going to talk about this. This is an uncomfortable subject for you because it was such a horrible thing, but it comes with the territory of being a website like we are. For anybody that didn't see, Jack unfortunately had a disagreement on Twitter with somebody, and one of their followers, in my opinion, at the direction of them, because it's the second time they've done something like this, crafted together a very poorly photoshopped message from Jack where he used some really discriminatory language towards gay people and just, you know, even Jay more so than me. But knowing Jack, I know you wanted to clear this up and just say, like, talk about how it was fake, because there's still some people, and it's small accounts sharing it, but I mean, we'll give you the floor to deny it. And I hate that we even have to talk about this stuff, because this is the second time this guy has tried to do something like that. And it's like, man, I don't care if you're straight, man, woman, binary, non-binary, whatever the fuck you are. This guy just wants to be a victim so bad. And honestly, if his hair was on fire, I wouldn't piss on the guy's head. I think he's just a human piece of garbage, Jack. But you can say whatever you want to say just to clear the air, because I know that you got to have thick skin in this game. But when people can go and try to Photoshop and take a personal attack at your character, sometimes shit in this game just goes too far.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, he had me blocked from when we had that prior interaction with him where he tried to maneuver something before. So there's no way I could even have DM'd him, because
he unblocked you. Yeah.
Blocked. And I didn't DM that night. Obviously, I was talking to you actually at the time of when this all occurred.
We were on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, we were on the phone. It was just complete. Yes. I mean, I'm not that type of person. I've made comments in my past that I definitely regret and are fucking awful. However, at this time in my life, I mean, I've worked in a gay bar for 3.5 years. There's just no way, like, I'm that type of person. And the image was just so photoshopped. It was ridiculous. I mean, we have people here that edit my grammar. There's commas where I wouldn't even know to put a comma if my life depended on it.
It was so well crafted by someone who clearly thinks of themselves as an intellectual. They couldn't even fathom not using that proper punctuation. And like, Jack, I try to bust your nuts here, but like, when I saw that message, I was like, Jack, drunk Jack. They tried to play it off. Jack got drunk and said this. Drunk Jack is not using. Jay, help me out here. He's not typing like that. Did that sound like him at all?
No, I mean, I saw the screenshot that person sent, and my first reaction right off the bat was, this just isn't Jack, because like you said, he doesn't set up his words that way. When he's casually tweeting or casually DMing, he doesn't put the commas in, he doesn't do the periods like that. Just nothing about that was Jack. And to the person who made this up, you know who you are. Will you ever watch this? I don't know, but I can tell you that
probably.
I don't respect you. I don't like liars. And you, sir, are the biggest liar and fraud I've ever seen, creating this and targeting someone that it was so unneeded. And you sharing that trickled down to other people that now give a bad taste of Jack in their mouths. And I hate saying things aren't fair, but that truly isn't fair. So you, sir, are a liar and absolutely can kick rocks.
No, and the thing that makes me mad is the people in the hockey media that encouraged this kind of mob mentality and this kind of gaslighting fucking garbage bullshit. Steve Dangle, Sarah Sivian, Marissa and Jemmy, Hamal Jahari, James Myrtle, you can all eat a big bag of chocolate covered dicks. You're all a bunch of fucking birds. I can't stand you. Hockey stinks. You're all ruining the game anyway. And Jack, I obviously as the owner of the business, I needed to be like, yeah, we'll take this seriously. Like, come forward with the proof. Dude, we started asking the guy who made the claims for the proof. He started blocking people. I started having friends ask him from the Twitter. Anyone who asked him, he was just blocking. Manufactured crisis. It's a shame because there's people out there in the LGBTQ community who do get abuse and who do get fucking, ridiculed and bullied, and it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. You're a garbage human if you do that to someone. And it's situations like this, like happened to Jack, that make real situations people question, because now anytime anybody accuses anybody at our site for anything, I'm going to wonder if it's fake, even if one of the times it ends up being real. And that might make me look like an asshole. But we've had 2 things come up, and both times we've been able to prove they were photoshopped. And they're all connected to these hockey writers. It's on purpose. I'm sorry to tell you, it's targeted. It's on purpose. And honestly, man, the only thing they hate is that just the 3 of us, like here, like we're just ourselves. That's what we're guilty of. We're guilty of just being ourselves, not being politically charged. But that's all the time we're going to give that. Fuck them. Another guy that I would say fuck him too is, after seeing the video, did you guys see Quavo from the Migos? And Sweetie, she has that song, Tap In, Tap, Tap, Tap In. That song's a banger. That song's a banger. So they were like, she was trying to get a bag from him. I don't know if it had money in it or whatever. He threw her ass on the ground real hard. Elevator video
Yeah,
surfaced.
elevator. Yep.
She was
And then
down.
you see Quavo looking at the camera like,
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, he knew the camera caught him. And bro, like she, like, I don't know if she had busted her ankle, sprayed her ankle, something happened. She went hobbling off. It was a horrible situation, man. Um, I know she just recently announced that they had broken up for infidelity reasons. He was like messing around with other chicks, and then he would just try to be like, I'm sorry, baby, here's a car. And she's like, I don't fuck with that. But I hope he doesn't get a pass for this just because he's like a famous musician guy. That was bullshit.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I feel like whenever things like this happen, when you're in the spotlight, they tend to get a pass. Quavo doing this. Who else? Tyreek Hill. I mean, what did he beat his kids or something like
Ray
that?
Rice and no,
Ray
that was
Rice.
Ray
Adrian-
Rice certainly didn't get a
Adrian
pass.
I mean,
Peterson-
Ray Rice
Adrian
didn't get a pass,
Peterson.
but
Yeah, Adrian
he-
Peterson was back. Like, I mean, there's tons of guys that you can
So-
think of get a pass.
Quavo's powerful. So, if gun to my head and someone said, do you think he's going to get away with it? I'm going to say, yeah, he is. But it's just things like this shouldn't go unnoticed. You're an absolute scumbag if you do that, to a woman, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it makes me sick. It makes me sick, guys. Speaking of things that are sick, did you guys see the new Lil Nas X Satan shoes that sparked controversy? Now it looked like they were made by Nike, but now Nike is suing the art collective behind the Lil Nas X Satan shoes that have sparked social media backlash. In a lawsuit filed Monday, Nike accuses MSCHF Production Studio of trademark infringement over the designer's 666 pairs of modified Nike sneakers made in collaboration with the Old Town Road singer. All 666 pairs sold out Monday. They come with 60 parts ink and 1 part of real human blood. But apparently the little check on there, like those are modified Nikes. Nike doesn't want anything to do with those shoes.
No,
Do you believe that?
I do.
It's
Nike,
Lil Nas
Nike
X.
is suing, and honestly,
Because they fucked up.
I can't imagine they would write off on that. That's just too dumb.
There's no way that Lil Nas X, with the platform that he has right now, and he's still going up, screwed up that bad.
Well, wouldn't he be saying that Nike signed off on this if they did? He's not saying that.
No.
I don't know. In my opinion, it's just something screwy. They did this in 97s, so they have that dope look.
Well, except
But-
the whole satanic thing.
Yeah, well, no, I don't give a shit about that. It's like that. It all compares to this video that he just dropped too, where either he's fucking the devil or the devil's fucking him. But it's all kind of mushed together, and then he drops this with the blood. Yeah, it's fucked up. Do I think the shoes are fire? Yeah, I do. Do I think Lil Nas X knew what he was going into? I think he knew. I think Nike knew, but I think Nike knows that something was up, and so now they have this to kind of turn.
You
Well,
know
did
who
you see
didn't
Jon
think the shoes
Jones?
were fire?
Jon Jones.
Yeah,
Jon
Jon Jones. He was gonna burn every single thing of Nike he has, and then he was like, "Oh wait, Nike's suing. All right, they good."
Yeah, but he wasn't happy about that, man. And like, it is pretty weird. I don't know why you would want human blood in your shoes, but the shoes looked fire. I don't get the concept. I get why Lil Nas X would do it. It creates, all publicity isn't necessarily bad publicity. The Jon Jones reaction to it was hilarious. He's had his own fights going on with the UFC right now too. Going as far as asking them to cut him over the fight with Francis Ngannou, how Dana White threatened to use Derek Lewis. That was funny. Something that wasn't funny though, guys. I don't know if you guys caught that video. It was horrible. The Uber driver, 2 girls got into his car, 13 and 15 years old, tased him. He was hanging out of his car. They turned on the car, slammed on the gas. There was a collision. The Uber driver died. AEW's Chris Jericho is actually helping pay for the funeral of the Uber driver. But the fucked up thing in this, guys, is 13 and 15 years old.
You're
trying to
not
do a
even
car
talking
jack.
about the worst part of that whole video. When it's all said and done, and this guy's lying dead on the
phone.
pavement, one of those two girls is just screaming for someone to get her cell phone out of the
Yeah.
car. She
Yeah.
cares more about her cell phone than she does of a man she just
I know.
murdered.
That was like, man,
What the
those
fuck?
girls. I mean, you're 13 and 15. I don't know if you're even able to get life in prison at that age. I
don't think
really
so.
don't. I really don't think you're able to get life in prison in that age. But
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
know, guys.
so bad. And
That
then
was hard to watch.
yeah, the video is tough to watch. I mean, luckily there's nothing too graphic about it except knowing the outcome. But like Jack said, the girl at the end just screaming for her phone that's left in the car. I mean, that's just fucking terrible. The people helping the kids get out of the car when the guy videotaping it's like, no, they stole the car. Don't help them. Don't let them get out. Don't let them go. But all in all, it comes back around. I mean, I think Chris Jericho's helping. I'm pretty sure he's involved in something that
Yeah, with the
works with
funeral costs. Yeah.
yeah, but it's all through something that was working with UberX, and don't quote me on this, but still, for him to go out of his way and donate some of his money to help pay for this guy, I'm pretty sure he was an immigrant too.
Yeah,
Help
man.
pay for his
Terrible.
funeral services. We've talked about it in one of the past episodes, but Chris Jericho is just all around the man, and he forever will be. And those kids are on his list.
Oh yeah, 100%. You just made the list, you stupid idiots. That was a stupid idiot thing, man. Big time terrible thing. Speaking of funny things, Kevin Durant versus Rappaport. Rappaport dropped his lawsuit for defamation of character against Barstool Sports that had been running since I think 2014 or 15 or something.
Long time.
A while.
It had
since
been a
that
long
t-shirt.
time.
That was so funny.
Yeah, the clown nose t-shirt. I don't really like Michael Rappaport, so for me, it's funny to see him kind of get dunked on today. But then Kevin Durant gets involved, and what the hell was going on there?
It all started because Rapport was just talking shit about Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant did like an interview and didn't seem like he wanted to be there. So Rapport starts talking shit about him. And then Kevin Durant just doesn't take shit from anyone and just starts going off on him. And he released, I think it was Rapp, he released all his DMs. And you see KD going back to back to back.
Yeah, he
coming
called
after
them
him.
the C word, and he called them like a
It's like,
bunch
meet me
of
on the corner, like 15 West and this. He goes, better yet, send me your address. I'll come to your house. Then he starts targeting his wife. I mean, KD's got no chill. I love KD. I love how he's like a little snake. I think it was hilarious. And the deposition tape that was released was so fucking funny.
Oh, that was
Just
the best
way,
with Portnoy.
the way Portnoy handled that. I mean,
he told them they were proving his point, and he was
Yeah.
right.
he's like,
Yeah.
exactly, proving my point. And the
Yeah,
lawyer's
he's like, he
lawyer's
is
like,
a clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he is a clown, and he's
Well, they're like,
I'm trying.
so you said this, and you're gonna make a T-shirt, and he's like, well, did you listen to the comments? That's all after the fact.
After
I
the
already
fact, yeah.
fired him, and then I made the T-shirts. In the comments, you just caught me on camera. Prove that I made the T-shirt after I
Yeah,
fired
that
him.
was such a
You
bad.
idiot.
Like, who was his
Assholes
lawyer? That was
represent.
what a terrible lawyer, man. Absolute trash ass lawyer there for Rappaport. Looks good on him. He always likes to call everybody a blowjob, but that guy's a blowjob in my opinion. Fuck him. He's a social justice-y kind of guy too. I don't fuck with that guy. But what I do fuck with guys is Manscaped. It is the number one tool in men's grooming. You go on over to manscaped.com or ca.manscaped.com if you're in Canada and hit promo code TARPS off, all one word, all capitals, and you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. Jack, how have you liked your experience with the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0?
Oh, it's been unreal. You always have that fear. You're going to nick your balls, not going to lie, probably let it grow a little bit because of that fear. Now I've got the Lawnmower 3.0 and my balls are as like silky, smooth as can be. It's like you're rubbing a glass globe. I mean, you always say that your balls have gone to the future. I feel like my balls are baby balls again.
Yeah. Oh, like
well,
you had
well.
Benjamin Button balls.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got Benjamin Button balls.
If you're looking
Big
for them
balls.
Benjamin Button balls, you go on over to manscaped.com and hit promo code TARPS off, all one word, for free shipping and 20% off. Guys, hit subscribe here. Tarps Off Sports, tarpsoffsports.com. The Jake Shields podcast is coming to Tarps Off Sports first week of May. We'll be back next Wednesday. Breakfast with the boys. Everyone in hockey media, go fuck yourself.
Thank you.